Joe, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight for this debate. As you know, our whole society, jobs, trying to find workers to fill these jobs in any field, it's a difficult thing. We're having shortages everywhere: nursing, education. I can go on and on and on. With our prison, the commissioners, we've met with the prison board, spent many hours trying to come up with different solutions. Some say it's pay. That could be one of the issues we have. We raised, or are going to raise the salary up to $17 an hour. I don't know if I don't believe that's the whole answer. Research shows, and I've read a lot of different studies with what's going on in our society today with the workforce. There's many factors involved in where we're at right now, and COVID contributed to a lot of these problems. But there's other ones, and I'm not going to get into them all right now. But we've had some of our inmates go to other, ship them out to other jails to make it safer not only for the inmates but for the correctional officers. We've kicked around the idea of maybe consolidating, going to a regional prison. That's something that may work. We have great relations with all the other counties right now in this county. That wasn't so a few years ago. But right now we have tremendous relations, and we may go to possibly a regional prison. That's one of the ideas we're kicking around. So it is a problem, and we know that, and we're trying to rectify it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll go down the line, and then we'll start a different order next time. So go ahead, Vinny.
I believe I used to be a county commissioner 8 years. I used to be in charge of the prison. I believe that the prison right now in Northumberland County is a disaster. They cut the budget of the prison $1.5 million for this year from last year, and they have 26 employees in Northumberland County Prison, when the state rule is they need 84 employees. Okay, so what happened when they don't have employees? They were like last Saturday. No, today's Monday. I'm sorry. Sunday they had 6 people work at the prison. 6 people. Imagine that. 2 they end up in a hospital. 1 he got beat up, and 1 he had an infection in his foot. So they have 4 people. They have 3 people in suicide watch to take care of these people. Nobody pays any attention. So I am a county commissioner. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. They have an outfit. They do the medical staff of the prison. They pay over $1 million a year. So I come to be a county commissioner. I'm going to serve minimum $700,000 with a stroke of the pen. I'm going to get rid of the company. I'm going to get a psychiatrist to be there for $100,000 a year. I'm going to have a doctor to be there for $100,000 a year. Okay, and I'm going to have a 6 LPN. It's going to cost $500,000. At $1.2 million, mine 5, it's $800,000, $700,000 in saving. Okay, I'm a businessman. I have thousands of employees in my life. I know how to run a business.
Thank you. Please be mindful of the.
I didn't see you.
Cue cards.
I didn't
Yep,
see
cue
you.
cards over here. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight again. Really appreciate everybody coming out to support the process. I will say, in regard to the prison, although there is low staffing, I've been trying to say in conversations and hearing what's going on behind the scenes, it sounds like the staffing that we do have is in a better place than it has been. In other words, you want to have a quality system and quality staff in place, and you do have to have the right pay levels in order to support that. So I think that that is a wise move. I also believe that we need to make good on the promise of making the prison be a revenue-producing asset for the county. I think I can help to do that as part of being commissioner of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
Okay, first, thanks for everyone being here. First, let me go, I want to let you know, we have one of the most modern, advanced county prisons in the state of Pennsylvania, okay? The second thing, we do have a staffing shortage, everybody knows that. Everybody has staffing shortages, but let me explain why we have a staffing shortage. Back in 2014, our salary for a CO was $13.69, okay? $13.69. The next year, 2015, for some unknown reason, and I don't know the answer to that, the starting salary was reduced to $12.50. I've never been in a contract negotiations where you decrease the starting salary, but that's what happened. Now, of course, that's when the prison was being, I guess, starting to be held by the state because of the burning down of our prison. So that, being run by the state, it didn't affect our COs that much because we didn't have, the staffing to do that. The state was staffing everything. So what happened was that salary stayed at $2.50 for a few years. We're trying to recover from that, but what happened is we got so far behind the other counties, and we have 5 different unions. We can't just all of a sudden say, we're going to raise your salary $5 an hour. We have been doing that gradually. We have every union already to offer them an increase in the starting salary. But one of the things you got to remember is we have one of the most modern prisons. Staffing is a problem. We've been working on that. As Mr. Clausen mentioned about the medical, we have already been meeting for 6 months with medical people to take over the prison ourselves. We have a doctor on board. We have nurses on board. We have done that all on our own. We have been meeting Thursday to try to finalize that. Thank you.
I told Sam 6 months ago, so it didn't happen.
Vinny didn't tell me 6 months ago. He didn't tell me 6 months ago.
Could we follow the protocol?
Can he talk? Can he talk?
Please do that? Okay, thank you.
But thank you. If you think you told me, we're looking at.
Thank you, Sam. Craig, you're up.
Oh, my turn?
We don't need to come.
When the prison was first built, Cole Township, it's in Cole Township, obviously. Cole Township did not know until we read it in the newspaper. It was dropped in our lap. But we accepted that. And I will give Mr. Cicatano credit. The county detective is retiring, we hear. And he promised us from day one the detective would take care of the problems. And it would relieve some of the expense to Cole Township. And the detective has done that. We are now hoping that they replace that detective with this budget crisis. My only comment and question is, if we build a prison, I own a convenience store. When I built it, I had a business plan. I knew how much I had to pay people. I knew what my revenue was. I knew what my expenses were. But apparently that didn't happen because now we can't pay guards enough money to retain them. And I don't know what the solution is to do that. Mr. Cicatano mentioned there's unions involved. I don't doubt that whatsoever. I don't question it with that. My only question is, I don't believe we had an operational plan. I think it was mismanaged from day one. And that's as much as I have to say. I'm not directly involved. I don't see the financial numbers, but I hope to. Thank you.
Can we rebut something? No? Yeah, well, yeah, I just, Mr. Clausen mentioned that we were $1.5 million over budget. That's wrong. We were $1.5 million under budget. And the reason we were under budget is, of course, because we don't have the guards. That's why we were sending some of our inmates to Snyder County, because we had the money in the budget to do that, to relieve some of the pressure on the COs that we had. Thank you.
Can I respond? Sam, I didn't say you was under budget.
You said
I
we were over budget.
I'm sorry, I didn't say to you it was over budget. You cut the budget, okay, $1.5 million from the year before, okay?
That's not
Why,
true.
I'll tell you why, Sam. Because you guys, in 2014, you guys are gonna be $6 million in debt in Northumberland County. And I'll prove it to you, because I believe I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna tell the people the truth. Thank
The guy
you.
that paid $2 million for a brownfield.
Anybody else want a minute to answer?
I guess I use my Joe, you want to respond?
What I would say is, that I've been told, whatever you want to call them, lies, untruths. And you deserve to know the truth. We all do. How this county runs and what's going on. And this current administration has been, and I hate to use the word, but transparent, which is a big word nowadays. We've been transparent as heck. And we've done everything for the benefit of the citizens of this county. This county hasn't been run any better than it has been run under this administration. And getting along, I know the newspapers don't like us because there's no lawsuits and no acting up and stuff in the paper, but thank you.
I don't need a minute, but I'd like to just retract Mr. Cleveland's statement about the lawsuits. There are lawsuits, as evident in Cole Township. Thank you.
Guess we'll keep it on the prison. It's our county prison is the only one out of surrounding counties without a work release program. Any plans on instituting a program or other types of post-prison release to help inmates or reintegrate back into society? And
Can I go first?
Okay.
I was going to go with Vinny.
Okay. Can you repeat the question, please?
So, our county prison is the only one out of surrounding counties without a work release program. Is there any plans for another administration on instituting a program or other types of programs for post-prison release to help people reintegrate themselves into society?
Okay. When I was a county commissioner, I bought the land in Sunbury, Celotex property. I was going to build the prison in Celotex. And also it was going to be the prison. There was supposed to be a pre-release center right next to the prison, and it was going to be a police station from Sunbury right next to the prison.
1,800 people live on
When the
contaminated
new
water.
administration come back, they come on board, okay? They bought a property called Township. It cost us $6 million, I think $6.5 million, whatever it was. And the CEO, one of them, the CEO was working for the company. It was the chief clerk who worked for Northumberland County, okay? It was her husband who was the CEO, okay? So when they went down and called Township, okay, and I have a plan at home I can share it with the press anytime they want, okay? They didn't use their brain, okay? Because they're not business people, okay? They don't know how to save the money, okay? Under my administration, the prison, I don't know yet, I was going to put 100 cells to bring the federal prison in the prison, okay? Federal prison, right? I would have got $225 a day. The money I would have got for the federal government, I could have given $25 an hour to the employee. Okay, so it was mismanagement. They don't want to admit what they did wrong, and time will talk. And that's all I have to say.
Before we go to the next person, just everybody, kind of please speak up. I got word that they're not here on online there, so if we can just speak up a little bit.
Okay. Is it
Let's go with Megan.
Okay. So my understanding,
Excuse me, just one more thing, that he's asking if they have a plan to institute this question. Is there a plan to institute work release?
I believe I want to do that before, and I have plans to do it, because I'm only as a county commissioner. You're welcome.
so my understanding is that at the Celotex property, there's a pretty severe flaw there that we wouldn't be able to have people living residentially there due to the status of the soil and that location. So that wasn't a possibility, unfortunately. I do think work release is critical. It gives really important opportunities to those who are in prison, and it was a huge advantage to many of our local communities that people were able to get out of prison to help with community activities. However, the logistics are very challenging with where the location of the prison. So my hope is that yes, that can be implemented, and I think that it is a great program that I would support.
So let's first, we've been talking about work release at the prison since we moved up there. Problem is, right now, we do not have the staff to put out with the work release to cover that underground. When we, as soon as we get the COs, we will do that. We plan on them painting up there, doing some of the leg work outside in the grass and things. But let me get to the Celotex property. We had a Celotex property that was bought for $500,000 and the county bought it for $200,000. Don't know why. I guess it was worth more after so many years. But then, while me and Rick Shuck were in office, the study that we kept doing basically said, in order to bring the prison there, you need to dig all the dirt out. You need to take that dirt and move it to Maryland, to some place for whatever. It would have been so, first of all, so expensive to do that. Secondly, the inmates, because we would have had to put a barrier over the ground so that no fumes could come up from the ground. Basically, it would have cost us just to get the ground ready to build the prison. That's why we started going another direction. We went up to up in the lower end of the county. We bought a juvenile place that we retrofitted, which is again one of the top county prisons in the state of Pennsylvania. We sold property up there for $1.5 million, which gave us, we were under budget building a prison. We got $1.5 million for that. We also are renting out to Gadenzi, a drug company that does rehabilitation for drug addicts up there. That's helping. We also have a juvenile place that we're getting revenue from all the time. So I don't know where information is coming from or what's being said, but again, as Mr. Klebon said, that's the truth. I'll show you anybody want to come down to the office, I'll show you the documents, the truth.
Can I respond, please? You have to give me a chance to respond.
As anyone involved in any government entity should know that the very first function of any government entity is public safety. Period. Public safety. As far as work release goes now, it would not be safe with the small staff that is at the county prison. We have inquired. We're building a recreation center. We have inquired several times to get help. And I do understand that there is just not enough staff to do that now. We don't want them running loose in our municipality, not being properly guarded. So yes, I think it would be a great thing to put the prisoners to work. It would save all of our municipalities money, but currently it can't be done. When the prison is fully staffed, then we should take the next step and look at helping municipalities after safety is reached. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, being a county commissioner, we are charged with the duty of providing services. We are probably out of all the different public servants, the county commissioners are the ones out in the front lines with, I call them the troops, the people that we work with, our directors of different agencies, the people that work for these agencies. They do a great job. So we're out there in the weeds with them, and we're fighting just like they are to do a good job for the taxpayers. Now, the work release program, great idea. If we had enough correctional officers, we could do that. We could implement a great program. What we're doing right now, though, at the prison is we're bringing different entities in to work with the prisoners with educational opportunities, different types of skills that they're learning. But the work release program, we'd love to do that, and hopefully in our next term we will be able to do that and a few other issues and ideas that we want to get done. So I'm all for the work release, but right now we just can't do it the way it should be done.
Thank you. You have 1 minute.
Okay, I'm going to respond to Mr. Shikatano. I have plans for the prison of my home. Okay, it was ready to build. Rick Sharp, the only reason he didn't want to put the prison in Sunbury because it was my ideal. Okay. Second, Mr. Claiborne and Mr. Shikatano don't tell you guys the truth. It costs a lot of money to transport prison from Cole Township to Sunbury. Okay, and And second, all the soil in the Celotex property was all tested, and it was ready to go. It was 100%. I don't know why they come out with this flip-flop and Sammy has to tell the truth. The reason why they bought that place over there, because it was the chief clerk, husband, CEO, and that's why they spent the $6.5 million. Thank you guys, that's the truth.
First, Vinny, that's a lie.
No.
Second of all, we do have a work release up at the juvenile place because there are enough people there. I think last summer or the summer before, I don't know if they were in the township, but they went out and did painting in the city, painted the meters and things in the city. So we got work release up there. Again, we have a facility up there that's not only holding our prison, but we have other things that are being done that are good up there. And I actually went and saw those plans for the prison at Celotex with Mr. Plowman at his house. I wouldn't have moved to move a prison that was already planned to be built unless there was a reason to do it. And the reason was to do it is the ground was contaminated, it had to be moved, there had to be a barrier underneath it, and we would have been sued by the inmates who were living there.
Okay? The Celotex property, great location, great property. When it was bought, it was worth $500,000. The county taxpayers paid $2 million for that. And then on top of that, we had to pay another $2 million to clean it up and do whatever else we did to it. Take buildings down and put it in the state it's in now. So $4 million for that property sitting over there.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Mr. Claiborne, I think as you go to work a little bit more, maybe you'll learn the system.
Let's stay, everyone has it. Yes, okay, we'll go to the next question. Everyone did one, except for Megan. Megan, did you want to respond? And Craig, did you respond? You're good, Megan?
Good.
Okay. All right, our next question is from someone here in the room. Please tell us what you see as the top priority and or strategies to promote economic development in the county, specifically the county seat. Top priority or strategies, and we're going to begin with Craig at the end.
It's a hell of a lot easier going forth with this. Well, the top priority of any, we do now have, out in lower Northumberland County, we have an industrial park that only has 2 tenants. It's next to the prison. We're just begging people to come to the lower end of the county. We have the Milton Industrial Park, which is absolutely fantastic with Vice Market and the other entities up there. How do you attract more people? You make interstate roads closer to where we're at. I mean, that's the bottom line. I know Commissioner Clausy got Great Dane to come into Ely'sburg when Fleetwood left. That was a big help to us. And how do you do it? You just keep reaching out to different businesses and telling them we're here. We'll work with you. As much as you can do, and work hard. That's it. Work hard. Don't sit back. Don't stop. I'm extremely proud of what we do in Cole Township, and given the chance, I would be equally as proud to do the same thing for Northumberland County. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan, you'll be next.
Thank you very much. There is much we can do to improve economic development for our region. We fortunately have really good partners in the room in Drive and ZetaCog, if you're not familiar with those. Those are quasi-governmental organizations that help move us forward in economic development. We also need to support our small businesses, and we need to bring larger ones in to replace those that we have lost. Now, one of the main points that we don't have here is a community college, and as many of you might know, I've been an advocate for having a community college in our region. First, I want to sort of dispel the nature of the term college, because a community college is really for the community, and I think it could bring a lot of, I know that it would bring a lot to our community in regard to economic growth. So it supports our local families in having family-sustaining wages, improves our job market for those people that might come in here as employers. That's my favorite.
let us recognize what we do have. Number one, we joined Drive a few years ago, and I'm our representative on Drive. Working with Drive, we have brought in, and I have met many times with the Cena company coming in Smoky Dam, Northumberland, which is $1 billion company. They had a choice of a place in Texas, a place overseas in Europe, and Northumberland, and they chose here. It's going to produce many jobs. I know there's some things people are trying to talk about, with the river and everything, but my feeling is, with them there testing it all the time, our river will be safer than it was before they came. That company will come and do many things to show that they will be, when they do finally build, that they will be monitoring that constantly. The second thing is, we have that coffee factory that, again, Drive just bought, that we are a big part of down here. I was just there a week or two ago, Senator Casey, for a tour. It's one of the premier coffee plants in the country. And then, of course, the Sunbury Hospital, which we were trying to do something with. We couldn't do nothing with it. We couldn't find anything to do. We talked to Drive, and Drive took over that. And we're planning on doing a lot of things in there, trying to bring tenants in and different things. So there is economic development happening. But the biggest thing is, again, it goes back to jobs. And when these companies get in, the first thing they look for is, do they have the workforce? And we have to build up our workforce, before we get any more big. But those are 3 examples of very big things that happened within the last year and a half, 2 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Vinny Quilisi, you're next.
I want to tell you about this company from Texas. Okay, I was with Rick Shock in the room when I was involved with the company from Texas to come here and burn the garbage. Okay, I went to Texas and myself, and I see what's going on. Okay, is they have that company comes in Newry to burn the garbage. All the garbage is going to come from New York, from Philadelphia, from Boston. It's going to be a disaster for Northumberland County. Be contaminated. That's why I think Chuck, knew the company I was dealing with. Okay, that was wrong to do. So that's why he backed down. Second, when I was a county commissioner, I bring a Grand Dane here in Northumberland County. I got crucified for the public because I gave a 70-year free tax, county tax only. And now we created 400 jobs. I was the only commissioner in Northumberland County. I bring 400 jobs. Told me another commissioner did that in the last 20 years. No. Talks are cheap. Thank you.
Joe?
Okay. I'm doing a lot of research on different things. One of the big problems that we had in this county was our credit rating, and that affects economic development. Our credit rating under some previous administrations was very, very low, and under the Chickatano, they increased our credit rating with Standards & Poor's, where it's we are in a very favorable credit rating right now because of the work and the foresight they had with our budget. The reason I'll mention that is going to, when companies, big companies look at that, they want to see what kind of people they're dealing with, what kind of credit rating do they have, is it a good credit rating? And the other thing would be a workforce. You need a good workforce. And you also need infrastructure, and I'll say it 3 times, infrastructure. And we're talking about sewer lines and roads and water and all those types of things. We have the Celtech site, tremendous opportunity now with that Susquehanna Freeway, Cross Valley Freeway coming in. That gives us the ability to get those big trucks out on the road and get to where they got to go quickly. When we get that site developed, along with the city of Sunbury, I think we'll be able to bring more economic development in. As Sam mentioned, we do have the that Encina plant coming in. and that's big room, the industrial park, as was mentioned. So we do have things in place, and we're going to continue to do that with the monies that we have
Yeah.
set aside
Thank you.
for that. Okay, thank you.
So there will be, we're not permitting a rebuttal to that. We actually have a question that came in that will tie in. You get 1 minute to answer. Sorry, Sam. Here we go. The question is, Sam stated that the Celotex property is contaminated, and the city of Sunbury is buying it for $1.5 million property that was bought for $500,000. So we're asking, what is your take on that reality in poor city of Sunbury? Whoever wants to answer that first can go. You have 60 seconds.
I can go first, Ken.
Thank you, Greg.
I basically can't speak to that. I'm not familiar with what the city of Sunbury is doing. So my answer would strictly be BS. If I said something, I prefer not to do that.
Would you feel comfortable selling it? Because the county would be selling it to them. Would you feel comfortable selling that?
Well, as I said, the county's not in the real estate business, so sell them.
Okay. Contaminated. Okay. Go ahead, Vinny.
Okay, a city, I just want to tell you, the commissioner, they're sitting on the board right now. They're lying to the public, and I can prove it to you right now, okay? A Celotex property was contaminated. Why the city, Sunbury, it would spend $1.5 million, and then they spend another $2 million to clean it up? That's a joke. That's a joke. This commission, they're lying to you people. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
First of all, let me go back to Asina. They aren't a company that's going to bring garbage into the area. It's a plastic recycling, a new technology where they take the plastic down to its molecular level and make it into new plastic. It doesn't have anything to do with garbage coming in from anywhere else. And what was the other question we were just talking about?
Just about, do you feel comfortable selling that to the
Listen,
county?
the property still can be used, Celotex property. We're not saying that it's useless. We're saying that you either have to put a barrier there, or it has to be some kind of business that it's not an overnight stay, not a place people are staying in, sleeping in, without the correct barriers and fixing of the ground that has to be moved. So they can be used. Could be used for anything, shops, it could be a shopping center, but it can't be used for overnight for people that are staying there overnight. It's not.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
So in regard, I'm going to do the same as Sam and respond to the Encina as well. I think that it is great that it is coming to our region. It is recycling plastics. It's a new and innovative way to do that in a way that doesn't degrade the plastic. So I do think that is a huge opportunity. We're talking a $3 billion investment in our region and 70 long-term jobs that are probably very good paying jobs. In addition to that, I do though think we have a responsibility to make sure they hold up their end of the bargain and there isn't any damage to any public, the infrastructure, or anything along those lines. In regard to Celotex, as far as I'm aware, everything I've heard from the city, I've been part of these conversations over a long period of time. My understanding is the same as Sam's, and that is that the property itself is not safe to live on as in a residential way. So it can be used in every other way, it's just we can't have it as housing.
The companies like Encina, when people see that, large corporations in other areas of the country and the world, when they see we're bringing in somebody like that, it's gonna draw attention. They're gonna look at that and say, wow, this company's coming in there. They're gonna spend $3 billion or whatever it is. That's gonna attract more companies to come in, and, you know, the best way to sell something is have a good product, and by word of mouth, it's going to spread. And I think we're going to get more and more big companies interested in coming to Northumberland County. We have a great county and a lot of potential here with growth for a lot of different companies. So I think we will see more industrial economic development here.
Thank you. What steps do the commission, not just commissioners, candidates as well, what steps do you as a candidate want to take to support the establishment of a multi-county community college? We'll start with, who did go first yet? Sam?
I knew you would. I knew you would. Listen, I'm an educator, Joe's an educator, taught 36 years, I know how important education is. I can propose a tax on people who live in Northumberland County to support a community college right now. I have told Megan I would talk to her about it. I think I told all the people involved in it. But we would have to come up, and I probably am wrong, with some kind of tax that would bring about $600,000, is that right? A year in tax revenue to support a community college. I don't think senior citizens who live in our county should be, and Shrek won't like this, I don't think they should be paying school taxes. I think they've been paying taxes long enough, and once you get to a certain age, you paid for your kids going to school. Let the younger mothers and fathers take care of that. Senior citizens, once they get to 65 or whatever number, I don't feel they have a need to be paying school taxes anymore. That's me. I've tried to relay that to the state. Nobody wants to listen. We have two other colleges in Luzerne and Lackawanna, thank you, that are here. We don't support them with tax money. I just can't see putting a burden onto the taxpayers to bring a community college. I'm for it 100%, and I have talked to some of the college people about another way of doing it without having to use taxes. But remember, we're not the only county. There would be 3 counties involved, correct, Megan? 3 to 4 counties involved. So we would have to come up with some way that can happen, again, not with burdening anybody that's a taxpayer, at least in our county. Maybe there's other ways to do it, and I'm willing to discuss those. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. We'll go backwards. Megan?
Okay. As I said already, I'm a big supporter of the community college project, and that is partially because one of the biggest issues we see in our area is brain drain. We are also seeing issues where the trade programs and certificate programs are not being addressed by those institutions that we're talking about. So Lackawanna isn't really offering a robust set of programs here. Luzerne County Community College, while it is at the right price point, and I'm certainly glad that we have these educational opportunities here, they are just a shadow of what we would have if we had our own community college here. Now, if you go to other regions, you can look at those assets in those areas. The community colleges are present and are making a difference in the workforce. So let's say you have people who are we have to worry about recidivism, right? That's a big problem with the prison. So do we want people to be, to have an opportunity when they get out of jail and have something to do other than just go directly back to crime? What if you're a recovering addict and you need a stepping stone to get a family-sustaining wage for you and your family? See, these are very important issues. Then we also need to talk about workforce development. A community college touches all of these points and makes a huge improvement in all of these areas. I don't know of another way that we're going to improve our economy any more than uplifting thousands of lives over the first 10 years. We know that will happen because the studies are there, and we can see it with the other community colleges. For instance, Erie County Community College was launched. They had 250 people at launch that were starting to get trained to go into new programs and classes. These are certificate programs, 3-month programs, less than a year programs that are going to get people back into the workforce. And that's what these employers want to see when they come here. So, like I said, we need to, I feel our people deserve this opportunity. $15 per household per year is what it comes out to. And our people deserve it, our communities deserve it.
Thank you. Benny?
I agree with Sam Chitano. We have a community college in Shamokin, and I will not support another college for taxpayer money. I agree with Sam 100%. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Joe?
Yes. I have been a school counselor for a long time. I taught at Warrior Run, and at Shamokin, I was a school counselor. I did thousands of college applications, so I am, as I said before, I am in the weeds with higher education. I went to Lycoming, graduated from there, Bucknell, got an administrative degree in Indiana University of Pennsylvania, so I'm all for education. And I've been meeting with the board, the Susquehanna Valley Education Project, discussing my feelings on this, and I feel that, and I've been in touch with Lackawanna and Luzerne. Their enrollment's been down a little bit. It's been down. And the gen ed courses, which are your English comp, your public speaking, your history courses, things like that. They're called gen eds. Kids take them in college, they do like a co-op agreement with their high school, and they get college credits at the same time. So they're doing that now, and I don't really see a need for those kind of classes to establish another community college. What I do see a need for, and my dad was an electrical engineer, and he was a blue-collar guy, he could fix anything. I do see a need for trades in this area, and I've been in contact, I've had meetings with our VOTEC schools, Snyder Union, Northumberland VOTEC, Northumberland County Career Technical Center, about starting something for your non-traditional students, which even high school graduates, to have classes for them to learn building trades, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, all those kind of, there is a need that I see. And I think that that's where this community college should start. But I'm really not for raising, putting a tax on our taxpayers in this country. Most of them are senior citizens, and they're taxed out. We're all taxed out.
Thank you. Craig?
Luzerne, several members panel mentioned Luzerne Community College, which is in Shamokin. I think Luzerne is in already a county-owned building. That building owned by the county. So there's the taxpayers supporting that building currently. I believe Luzerne is a revenue generating source for the county there. They do pay rent. And Luzerne it's a good school. I don't know if I would support any more burden currently on the taxpayer. I would have to think long and hard about it. I'm proud to say all three of my children graduated from college, 2 from local state schools, great education. And the third, as someone mentioned, graduated from a community college, and he now teaches electricity to all the apprentices in the local union, and quite frankly, he's making more money than the rest of them. So, yeah, there is a need for it, so that's my feeling on it.
Thank you. We're not going to have any questions. We're going to the next question. Sorry. All right. Well, as we all know, lately, blame has been passed around concerning the Act 47 status of Shamokin, and I just wanted to know your thoughts on the proposal to sue the county to force them to do a property value reassessment, which hasn't been done in 51 years, and I'm going to start with Sam.
Thank you, I appreciate asking that question. First, listen, first of all, I don't know if Shamokin or any of these other places think if we do a reassessment or anything, and they force us to do a reassessment, which I don't know if they can do, it's going to give them more taxes. It doesn't give you more taxes. I've been at seminars, meetings about reassessment. All reassessment does is move the money around. So what it means is some people here might pay more taxes, some people here will pay less taxes, and the people in the middle will stay the same. You don't get more taxes. But what it does is it gives you the opportunity to raise taxes. I tell the municipalities, find a way to get revenue. Find a way to do other things. Not worry about if we change into an assessment so they can raise taxes on people. There is only a 10% gain that you can get from doing a reassessment. And let me just tell you a quick story about taxes. And I give Megan credit with her group at the community college. But at one time, you know, we say $15 a month, $5 a month doesn't mean anything. Years ago, we had a meeting, and the next day I got a call from a lady from Trevor, who a senior citizen, lives with her husband. And she, on the phone, almost crying, and she says, Mr. Shigantano, please don't raise our taxes, we can't afford it. And I said, Dora, after talking to her, we didn't raise taxes. Didn't you see it in the paper? It was yesterday, you would have seen it. And you know what Dora said to me? Mr. Shigantano, we can't afford to buy a paper. Those are the people that I'm worried about. Those senior citizens that are barely making, those senior citizens that have a rough time buying oil, we might have to raise taxes someday. Don't get me wrong, we haven't in the last 3 years. We might. But don't think because we do a reassessment, all these municipalities are going to get this money. They're going to have the opportunity to raise taxes on their people. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I guess everybody knows who lives in the other end of the county. I've been pounded, Shamokin and council people to now sue the Northumberland County. because we cannot afford to do reassessment. I went to Pittsburgh when I was a county commissioner to learn reassessment. How does a reassessment is, I'll give you an example. You have a half a double in Northumberland County, where it's right now it says maybe $950, $1,200, I don't remember what the number was. Okay, and then you have a bigger home here where they're paying a lot of money for tax. What it's gonna do is gonna go like this. So the half a double, they're gonna reassess at $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000. The senior citizens, they're gonna get killed. They're gonna get killed. They cannot afford it. I donated myself $50,000 a year to senior citizens to buy oil. So we raise them tax. Then people are gonna be under the tunnel because they cannot be in their homes. So I know what reassessment is. I've been pounding the Shamokin every day they wanted the reassessment with my own money. And I will continue to pound that because I don't think they should sue the county to do reassessment. That's my opinion, and thank you so much.
Go ahead.
So in regard to the property tax reassessment, I kind of agree with the consensus here. That is that we may be forced into doing a tax reassessment if someone does bring a lawsuit in regard to that. But and again, like everyone said, it's going to even things out. It's not necessarily, there will be winners and there will be losers. And so you just really can't know who that will be until it's done. And there will be a significant tax that will have to be paid in order to cover the costs of that reassessment. Whenever you're reassessing that many properties, there's a huge cost involved with that. In regard to talking about Dora, it's interesting that Sam mentions her. I actually got the chance to talk to Dora some time ago. She's a very sweet lady, and I was gently asked her about the community college project because I was curious to see what her thought would be, and I just made the incorrect assumption that she did not know what that was, and she made sure that I knew that she had gone to a trade school, and she thought that they were a very good thing, and she thought she could afford $15 a year for that. So I also would like to mention, too, in regard to transportation, Luzerne County Community College is teaching gen eds here, is what Joe mentioned. What we really need here are trade programs, and unless we have our own main campus community college, we won't get those blue-collar trade programs, which is what we really need. We aren't going to see that investment from Luzerne because their main priority is Luzerne County, which totally makes sense. That's why we need to have our own here. It's an asset. We are turning away, essentially, for our region, $1.2 million a year. So we are turning that away. If we are to match it, that money would be coming here for our workforce development. That is a law. They have to do it if we put up the money. And then also, I would love to know if the other commissioners have other ways that they think that we a ready-made potential project that would do all the things that community college would do for the region.
Craig?
Yes, I think maybe something without a reassessment could, correct me if I'm wrong, but something could be done with the tax ratio, where taxes could be adjusted in a fair manner. I know in our municipality there are some big businesses that have been around a long time that are paying, and property taxes are public knowledge, so I'm not out of school. There's big businesses in our area that are paying less property tax than I am. I mean, it's been 50 years. I mean, why have all the other counties adjusted tax reassessment in the past 50 years and Northumberland County has not? And I'm not here to tell you that we need a tax reassessment, but I know that there's different tools we could use to fairly adjust these taxes. So people, and I don't want Dora to pay more than she has to because Craig's retired like Dora. So I don't want to pay more than I have to either. I can see that, but we need to look into different areas so we can fairly adjust taxes. Actually, I spoke to one city county commissioner, and I don't want to throw stones or get into names, and asked them about a tax reassessment and said you possibly could get sued, and they told me good, then it won't get blamed on us. I guess that's a good answer by that person, but I'm good.
Your time is up.
I'm good.
You're good?
That's enough.
We still here.
Hey,
Joe?
guys, please give us a smile. My God, we didn't do nothing wrong.
Can I answer?
Here, Joe?
I'm sorry.
Wow, I don't think there's anything else to say with that. Reassessment is a dirty word. And if you run for an office and you're pushing reassessment, it's not going to be a good thing. But if I believed in it, I would do it. I wouldn't really care about that. I don't believe in it right now. It's a third of the people are going to go down, a third are going to go up, and a third are going to stay in the same. We can still bring the same amount of money in, but we can raise taxes, that's a bad thing too. Especially in our county with all these senior citizens, and I don't want to pay any more taxes than I'm paying right now. So, the reassessment thing is, at this point in time, not a really good idea, and I wouldn't support that at all.
Can I just add one quick thing? Just so everybody, we're talking about reassessment. So you know, Schuylkill County just did a reassessment. Just to do the reassessment, it was $7 million. We're about the size of Schuylkill County, maybe a little bit smaller. We're probably at $6.5 million just to do a reassessment, which doesn't give us a penny, okay? So everybody understands that. Thank you.
That's the other thing, $6 to $7 million to do that. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. We're going to be able to raise taxes, but we're going to pay $6 million, we'll have to take a loan out.
What the reassessment does, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, I went to Pittsburgh and learned the reassessment. Reassessment, when you go through, and when I went down, I learned again, 2012, it was going to cost $6.5 million the reassessment in Northumberland County. And reassessment, what it does, he gives the politician an open checkbook. They can raise the tax whatever they want. And you guys are going to make it a check at the end when the tax comes, make the check and give the money to the politician. Okay? Reassessment is a bad, bad thing. Someday it has to be done, and not right now.
Okay, next question, and this will be directed first to Megan, is what is your commitment to working together as county commissioners, knowing that, and I'm a pastor, so I'm going to say the book of Matthew says a house that is divided will fall. And us people as county residents, we want to see that there's a working relationship where everyone's being respected, no matter whether they're the minority party, period. So what is your commitment to working together? And I'm just going to say that as clearly as I can. Working together. What is your commitment? Megan, please start us off.
I think that is critically important, and I think what we've seen here in the past few years, our county government has been a huge improvement in working together. I would like to continue that. I have been working on teams throughout the city over many years. I think that that is critically important to getting things done. If we want to get things done, we need to work together. We need to prevent drama. That's the last thing that we need in our county government. We want to be able to get good things done.
Sam? What is your commitment?
Let me just say, I looked this up. I didn't know you were going to answer this, but I was told that in the past 20 to 25 years, there has been more unanimous votes in Northumberland County in the past 3.5 years than there ever has been. I think that shows right off the bat that there is working together, communication, maybe some give and take. And I think the people realize that by what they read when our meetings are over, and people that attend our meetings, that everybody's cordial, everybody's respectful. And as I said with Megan, I listen to her group all the time. They haven't changed my mind yet about community college, but they're trying. And, I think that's what it's all about. Number one, respect. Number two, let everybody express their opinion, but do it in a way that, it's cordial. And then think what's the best thing for the citizens. What's the best thing to do? And I think that's why we had more unanimous votes in the past 3.5 years than we have had in the last 20, 25 years. I'm done.
Right.
Our record on our board in Cole Township, back up was about 2000. There's never an argument, there's never a problem. We have 5 years straight of 5-0 votes. And one of our members is Mr. Chiquitano's nephew. Now, Mr. Chiquitano and I have some differences. We're sitting here next to each work with Matthew, his nephew, and we get along fine. I mean, and in my professional work-related career, I was always in positions, executive level positions, and I've learned how to deal and get along with people. And I think that truthfully is my strong point. And I would look forward to harmony, if that's possible. And we'll do everything we can to make it work. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Joe?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, for you guys, the press, we are a boring board of county commissioners. All we do is get the job done. We meet, we have our problems, maybe behind closed doors, we iron them out, and we come out in front of the public, we act respectable, professional, and we get the job done, which benefits the taxpayers and our constituents of this county. We don't make a spectacle out of things. Our constituents can be proud of us, and surrounding counties have noticed that too and say, you guys get along, you're doing a great job. I was a coach, and a buddy of mine back there, Carmen DeFrancisco, another fellow coach, and he knows what I'm talking about. Sam was a teamwork. You need to work together, all right? It's like a hand. When your hand is like this, it's not very strong. But when it comes together like this, like a fist, that's where you're strongest. And that's what, when you're on a team, a board of commissioners, Sam, Kim Best, and myself, we work together to do some great things in this county, and we will continue to do that. So county residents can be proud of the commissioners that they elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I believe I will work with anyone, so we do the right thing. So we don't do the right thing, I'm not gonna work with nobody. I will expose everyone in the newspaper for my own money. Okay, I'm a strong businessman. I have thousands of employees, my wife, and I work with my employer across the aisle. We all got along? No. We are different? Yeah. But at the end of the day, we did the job and we went home and bring the bread and water to the house. So I work for any commissioner that want to do the right thing. Thank you.
All right. The county has been involved in an ongoing lawsuit in Cole Township over permit fees at the prison. Several courts have already ruled in favor of the county. Do you support recouping the money from Cole Township? Yes, no, and why? We'll start with Vinny.
I didn't hear you too good. Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question, please? About something about code. I can't hear it.
Sorry. Yes.
About the
You're familiar with the prison lawsuit?
Yes.
Okay. Do you support recouping the money from Cole Township? Yes, no, and why?
I believe all the municipality, all the city and the county, they all need tax revenue. They all need a permit fee to survive. The issue between the Cole Township and the county, and Sammy can speak up with this, I tried to get the county, Sammy Chicatano, and Craig Fetterman. Okay, we was in the office at the Cole Township office. I tried to get them together. I stepped in to see so we can resolve this issue. Okay, I'm not the commissioner of Cole Township, so I can't say yes or no. But I tried my best to put them together in Cole Township to resolve the issue. I guess it was not resolved, so I can't say no more than that. I tried.
We'll go with Joe.
What did you say?
Yeah.
I was just thinking something to thought. Mr. Plowsy, did you answer that question? I don't know, did you answer that question? You just said you tried to bring both sides together.
I did. Say that. Oh, you know, you was not there.
No.
You was not making me fun.
But is the question
The question is, do you support recouping the money from Cole Township?
Yes. Okay, that's what I
The
thought.
question is I support the county to recoup the money.
Okay.
I told you what I want to do, and that's the end of my question, sir. You don't put words in my mouth, okay?
Okay, so, all right, I believe in following the rules and following laws. Without the rules and laws in our society, we have anarchy. All right? Now, before I was a commissioner, this lawsuit started up with these permit fees. So now, we had our court here in the county rule that the fees were illegal. They were more than they should have been for various reasons. I guess because Old Township couldn't prove that they spent all the money on these fees that they said they did. I think that's what happened, but it's like if you're, whatever, you have a job and you go to some conference and you gotta bring the receipts back and you're saying, I want $1,000, just give me $1,000, we'll call it even. And the treasurer, whatever business manager says, hey, you know, I want to see receipts. So you have to turn the receipts in and it's for $500. And he says, well, that's not $1,000, I'm giving you $500. So I think that's kind of the case here. But, so you have one court say the fees were illegal. Then we go to the Commonwealth Court. They said the fees were illegal. Now, we're up to $300,000, $400,000 with interest, attorney's fees out of Philadelphia, paying a lawyer $250. Now we're going to the Commonwealth Court or the Superior Court, or Supreme Court of Pennsylvania to appeal it again. So, these fees, initially in the first court, they should have been paid back on some payment schedule or however we could have worked it out, but that money is owed to the taxpayers of this county. And good luck now with the next appeal. Because, you know, I was a resident of Old Township for a long time. My aunts and uncles lived there. My dad, I was brought up there. And I'm all for, you know, I know Old Township, I love Old Township. But you got to do what's right. And you obey the law. If the law says the fees were illegal, then let's get it done.
Thank you, John. Go with Greg.
Hey.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I guess so much for the hand and the fist working together. We're working together, you so-called township, because your prison was mismanaged from day one. I have right here $39 million on this paper from Geisinger, Aldi, Mount Sinai Estates. $39 million, equivalent to $39,000 in the taxpayers' coffers in Cole Township. None of these businesses, corporations, healthcare facilities challenged that garbage. This was challenged because they mismanaged the prison. That's why. They didn't have the money to pay the permit fees. We can talk about the hand and the fist all day and working together, but when somebody does something asinine, and that's what this is, asinine. When somebody does something like this, it's ridiculous. That's working with municipalities, that's cooperation, that's bull. $39 million right here. Anybody wants to see it, they can. Why does Northumberland County think they should be different? No, they're not different. We're not being fair to our taxpayers if we let them be different. We're cheating our taxpayers. If anyone came in and took your house, right, and said, if anyone came in and sued you, would you sell your house to defend that lawsuit instead of paying them $200,000 or $300,000? We're not going to let the bully take our lunch money. Period. Thank you.
It's still the same.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, first of all, we did pay Cole Township the money that they asked for to begin with in protest. They spent that money for whatever reason, I don't know. They knew there was going to be a lawsuit. Remember, that money that we paid for permit fees was your money. It was the people in Herndon's money, the people in Milton's money, the people in Shamokin's money. It was all their taxpayer money. Now, I sit at a meeting every week when we were building the prison, and my people, attorneys, contractors, everybody else said, this is way out of line what they're charging. So we filed a suit. We found out, as the law and the judges have said, that you can charge what it cost you to do the permit inspections. Cole Township charges $167,000 to do the permit inspections. And when we did when we did the discovery, we found out that that company only got $110,000. We don't know where the other money went.
Did you read the contract?
No idea where the other money
Did you read the
went.
contract?
Then, the
You'll have the-
township comes back and tells us they want another $220,000. For what? They said, because we can do that. And we just are fighting because we say you can't do that. You cannot use a permit fee as a tax. They could not show in court that they used that $220,000 and the other $50,000 for anything to do with the permit fees. That's why we won, and we're going to win the appeal. Now they're not even questioning if it's right or not. They're just questioning that we didn't do it right. And if we would lose this, and we won't, we'll just refile it. Thank you.
Megan?
Thank you. So I work with the code office a lot, and I've dealt with researching this type of issue previously for other things that I've seen, and that from what Sam said, that is exactly correct. And if the judges have decided in the favor of the county twice, what they're seeing is that the permit fees are inordinately more than what the actual cost is to the municipality and for those fees. So it'd be just like if you were a homeowner and you had to get a permit for something, you shouldn't be paying any more than the cost to the permit offering entity. Maybe it's, we use NEIC here in Sunbury, and then a small administration fee to the municipality. Anything more than that's considered an illegal tax, and that sounds like what this is falling under. As far as how it needs to move forward, I really hope to see that it's, you know, we have to follow whatever the courts say, and if they've decided that, then we need to do it in a way that doesn't hurt the people of the whole township or hurt them in the least possible manner. Thank you.
Does anybody need a minute?
Did I?
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I just want to, let it known too, and that's the one thing me and Greg have a problem with, this permit thing. But I personally met with Greg when Vinny was there. I personally met with George Zaylor alone. I personally met with Jerry Wall alone. I personally met with Bernie Rumberger. These are all people on the council to try to settle this before it got to this point. And there was no give at all. And that's why it's not settled, and the courts are going to settle. But remember, it's not my money. It's your money. I'm fighting for you guys. I'm fighting for the people in Watsontown and Milton and everybody else whose money is being used right now for whatever reason, whatever way Cole Township decided to use that money, it's wrong. And why the other places are doing it, I have no idea. They're corporations, they're companies. I don't work for them. If I worked for them, I'd be doing the same thing. But I don't know why Walmart and everybody else didn't do anything with their permit fees.
You want your check, right?
Yeah. Our permit fees are no different than any other. Sunbury's permit fees are the same as our permit fees. They're basically within basis points of one another. Within basis points. We researched the whole area. Our permit fees are no different. They're not out of line. They work the same everywhere. When there are no permit fees, there will be no zoning department. When there's no zoning department, your properties will be blighted and your property will be worth nothing. Absolutely nothing. We vote every month. Every month we vote to pay the bills. We vote every month to pay the bills. We vote every month to pay these lawyers' fees that they talk about it. Sam's blood, his nephew voted yes to pay those bills.
Because he's afraid of you, that's why.
He's afraid of me.
That's what he does. I know he's like.
Sam, you have your minute. You have your minute.
He's a big man.
I get that, that was a big sis too.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on over there with, Craig's throwing a lot of stuff out. And Sam was a commissioner before I became one. But all I know is that, the courts ruled that the permit fees were excessive. So, when they rule that, if you're a law-abiding citizen and follow the law, then you do that. If you get a speeding ticket and it's $150, you pay it. Or some people try to get it fixed probably, but whatever. But you just say, okay, I'm going to pay it. I was going over the speed. So if you violate it, you pay it. So that's where I'm at with this. It's county money, the taxpayers' money, and I think we got to get it squared away. And hopefully we do.
Go ahead.
Go back to your question, okay? I try my best to get the county and the township together to settle this issue with permit fee. I built a 2-building in Cole Township, it cost me over $1 million. Okay, I pay my permit fee. Okay, as any company comes in any place in the county, okay, Wise Market built big complex, a distribution center, they pay their fee. Okay, now the issue what Sammy say or Joe say, they charge too much, I don't know that. So that's why let them figure out what's going on. Okay? And I want to answer your question when you said to me, blah, 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 right? So I'm telling you, I try my best to settle this matter as a private citizen. So, and I'm proud of myself. Thank you, sir.
Megan, would you like a minute? Okay.
What are other avenues of revenue for the county and local municipalities that you feel are not currently being utilized? Maybe places people consider tourist attractions, etc. I'm going to start with Megan.
Just to understand the question, you said areas where we're not leveraging, or you said?
Yeah, where we can get revenue from in the county that we're not utilizing.
I don't know of any direct areas, except that I do know if we're going to increase the tax base, we do need to do some dramatic things in order to increase the tax base. And that is, like I mentioned before, working with Drive and Cedar Cog and other groups, and also just going out independently and working on economic development. And of course, as I mentioned, the community college project. I haven't seen another project out there which can do any more for our communities than that as quickly as possible. Everything else is a long game, a marathon. So, for instance, we could incentivize facade programs. We need to improve our community pride. We need to do blight removal in a lot of our communities and maintain parks, do tourism, promote that tourism, and we have been doing a little bit of that. I think all of those things, they're marathon projects which will return on investment, but we need to be participating with our local communities to make those things happen. So, again, there's already positive movement happening in a lot of our communities. Mount Carmel has some initiatives, Shamokin has initiatives going on, and all of our communities are working hard, and we need to partner with them, use that teamwork to build partnerships where we can help them build their own communities. So there's all sorts of opportunities out there. Let's help them leverage that. But as I said, that's the long game. As I mentioned, economic development and community college is probably the quickest way to make the biggest difference. Thank you.
Benny, go ahead.
I believe we should work hard to bring industry in the county. When I was a commissioner, I bring the Celotex, I forgot to tell you about Celotex too, and I bring Grandane in Northumberland County. I went to Chicago myself to meet with the corporation 3 different times, my own expense. You know what I find out? There was a local Grandane to move from a newspaper out of New York. They was going to be in North Carolina. I went up there, I begged them to come to Northumberland County. You know what they called me? Good ambassador. Good ambassador. Okay. So what I'm saying, we can bring jobs in Northumberland County. What's that? I'm done. No, go ahead, I'm done. I thought I was done. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam.
Well, first, I just want to mention, and I think it just left Justin Skater, who is our planner, is our grant guy, and I know he just walked out for some reason, probably left a little bit. He does an outstanding job as far as getting people who want to bring businesses in, grants, helping. We help all people in the county. I mean, we've been working now up in Watsontown with some people, and I think us joining Drive a few years ago is a big thing. It's hard with our daily schedule to work and try to go out. Justin, there you are. There's Justin right there coming. One of the top planning guys, finding grants for everybody, helps anybody that calls him, anybody here, your municipality needs any money, he'll find a way to get it. going to have some impact. Again, I mentioned, we have this coffee factory, we took over the old hospital, and hopefully that's going to turn into some good businesses. And then we have the Cena Cummings and a lot of small businesses coming. But it's not just an easy thing that one person in the county can do, but Justin does a great job. And
I have a 10-second to go here. Yes, I have a 10-second to go. I got to remark. Okay, City Park, they've been talking about City Park for 50 years. They never bring any job in this place. 50 years, City Park, City Park, City
We
Park.
need to hear from Joe and Craig before we vote. So go ahead, Joe.
Well, I serve on the CEDACOG board. Thank you. Somebody should. But anyway, I think it's a great board, and I think they get a lot of good things done. And we're always discussing initiatives that's going to bring businesses in and development throughout the whole county and the region. And the other board I serve on is the Workforce Development Board, which is in Lewisburg. And that board is bigger yet. That's a 7-8 county area. There's a commissioner from every county on that board, along with very prominent business people. And we meet every 3 months we meet, and we discuss all the issues. And that board is very aggressive too with coming up with ideas. But again, I've worked with them. They're the experts, and in our county we have 21 different departments. We can't micromanage everything, so we rely on the expertise of the people that are in those departments, people at CEDACOG, or people at the Workforce Development Board. And like we have Justin Scavery back there. I know Sam mentioned him. He does a great job with grants from state and federal level, and there's lots of them out there, and we need a guy like that because he brings in a lot of money to the county, and there's a lot of opportunity for different kinds of economic development. So along with that, we continue to work with that, and hopefully we'll bring more and more into the county.
With rebuttal?
All right, go ahead, Craig.
One thing that everyone here has overlooked is not a local favorite in the coalition, but the AOAA. It's absolutely phenomenal with the indirect cash flow that's coming to Northumberland County through the AOA. When I say indirect, I mean restaurants, gas stations, parts stores, whatever these guys need. When they come here, it's absolutely phenomenal what they bring. They're coming with $200,000 worth of equipment. And again, it's not for everybody in our end of the county because we lost our mom, quite frankly. But it really is a terrific thing. One other object there, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the Welsh Center is going to open in Cole Township in June. And after today's meeting, I think it's going to be managed by the YMCA. And through our board and through the hard work of the electrical workers, the iron workers, and all volunteer people that came in there to help, it's going to be a dream. And I can add Northumberland County has not given us one dime towards that project to benefit the whole county. Thank you.
Okay, the AOA, I want everybody to know here, okay, I was the one created AOA, me and Colm Officer. Okay, I took a lot of abuse with a lot of the people at the end of the county. They wanted me to use AOA. Last year, AOA bring a $1 million in. We created over 20 jobs. Okay, so my record is clear. I bring job. Where's Mr. Claiborne? He's on the board. How many jobs you bring in 3 years you're not board?
Quite a few.
Where? Tell me where.
Okay.
No, tell me where. Tell other people.
Stop down the office tomorrow. Go over
I'm
it.
not going to stop at your office. I don't want to be.
We can't have back and forth.
Anybody else with that question?
Yeah, I just would like to mention the AOA. Greg's right, it's a great organization up there. They do give money to groups as far as charitable organizations and things. But I'd also mention that I think 2 or 3 years ago, I'm on the airway, I'm not on their board officially, but I go to their meetings. And we got them to also start paying the county because we felt the northern end of the county and the here wasn't getting any benefit. You know, and Craig's right, we are getting benefits in our restaurants and things. So you'll notice every once in a while that the AOA comes in and gives us a check for $75,000 or $60,000, and that's because of negotiating with them saying, hey, you are doing good now. You are making $1 million a year. You can throw some money to the county to help us with budget, to help the northern ends get something because they basically, unless they go down there, they're not getting any benefit from them, like the Shamokin and Mount Carmel and Old Township people are.
I have, just want to talk to Mr. Fetterman about it. He said the county, did you say the county didn't give you one?
Yeah, that's what I said.
What exactly did you say?
I said the county, I don't think gave us one dime towards that project. What did you do? I might have forgot.
$50,000?
Did you really?
Northumberland County Authority?
Okay, I apologize.
$50,000?
Yeah, when was that?
It was like in 2017 or 18.
Okay.
Remember that, Sam?
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
What's
$50,000? I'm sure if you said it, sure. Okay, the county has done very little. I'm sorry, John.
Well, that's 50,000. That's.
Gene Wells gave 200.
Okay, this will be the last question before the final statement.
Okay, I have the last question. So we heard a lot about money today and about economics and budgets, but there's a people factor. You guys are administrating over people's lives, thus children and youth, mental health, probation, all sorts of things that deal with people, drug and alcohol. And so I want to know what the commitment is today to making sure people get cared for, because I believe everybody in this room, we want to save money, but not at the expense of people, not taking care of people. So what is your commitment to making sure people are cared for in this county? And we will begin with Craig at the end.
Well, I think I started the whole meeting by saying public safety is #1 priority of any government entity, and I still believe that. So, maybe we have to step backwards and look at public safety, look at children and youth. How many children are we taking care of that we're not taking care of that we should be taking care of? I don't know without looking at the numbers. Truthfully, have to look at the numbers, see where we can budget money and take care of people. I know that there are no more senior citizen centers in our end of the county. They're gone. That's taking care of senior citizens? Where's it at?
At Bill High School.
Is that Bill High School? Is it taken care of or something?
Senior citizens.
Okay.
Let's keep on order, right?
Just helping them.
I don't think he's helping me, he's interrupted me. He's not allowed to do that. But anyhow, that's where I am. I'm not going to argue over it, there's no sense in that. But I just don't think right now we're doing a good job on public safety and has to improve.
Yeah, just first of all, there is a senior citizen center in Shamokin. They're putting in a brand new kitchen in and everything else. We moved them there from the old St. Joe's Church, next to St. Joe's Church.
There's one in Mount Carmel.
Yeah, there's one in Mount Carmel too. But let me get to our children and youth, our drug and alcohol, our area aging, our veterans. I want to commend our people because I think they're doing a great job. I think we have great employees. I think we have great leaders in those departments. I think they are covering, and I go over there and when I see the things they're doing and when you meet with them and how hard they're working, and you know what the biggest thing is? How much they actually care on what they're doing. That means a lot. So just throwing out a question, what are you going to do? I think they're doing a good job. I think our leaders, we just had two new leaders put in there, they're doing great. Again, we work with Cadenzi now with drug and alcohol, we brought them in to help. Are we going to solve all the problems? No way. We're not going to. But what our people do in those areas is outstanding. And I want to praise them. Can we get better? Everybody can get better. If just saying that they do a good job.
Thank you
Can
for
we go
that.
next, please?
No, we're just going in order, right? Megan.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I think that that's, unfortunately, the public often isn't aware of what the county is in charge of and is not in charge of, and they are very much in charge of a lot of these social services, which are critical to our communities. Area agency on aging was mentioned, Veterans Affairs, behavioral health, senior citizens, children and youth. This is a lot of areas, a lot of people. If these people don't get the right care, then it becomes other problems. Then we're dealing with the court system, which is also under the county. So we need the right staff in place. We are low on staff, but from my understanding is we have better and better staff and stable leadership at the county level will make all the difference in that. So what you do want is to have a good team there providing stable leadership, not nepotism, not putting people in for favors, not replacing people that are, doing a great job. We need them to feel secure in their job and that they have it for the long haul and they can do the good things that they want to do because they aren't doing it for a very high wage. So I want to support them and thank you to all of them for all they're doing for us.
Okay, I need 2.5 minutes now on this one. So, let's talk about children and youth a little bit. When I come in 2008 as a county commissioner, I was the head of children and youth. I was the head of 911. Children and youth, they had 52 children under children and youth in 2008. When I left in 2015, the children and youth, they had 275 kids under children and youth. Because we increased so many because a lot of children out there, they don't have enough fault. Okay. Right now, today, under children and youth, I think it's 57. Okay. Now let's talk about 911. Okay. 911 is a very important department. I like the children and everything else. 911, this man is the head of 911, Mr. Claiborne. He lost someone who used to train the people in 911. They never replaced him 3.5 years. Okay? There was a child, there was someone in the other end of the counter, they dispatched an ambulance, the mother, it was a water break, he was going to have a baby. The ambulance, it never showed up there for an hour and 15 minutes. Under Claiborne administration, we lost the child. The child died. The mother was under surgery for 7.5 hours. God, look what's going on in Northumberland County. Don't let these people buffalo you. We lost a child under his leadership. Now they just hire the guy, if we lost a child, they just hire the guy to train the people in 911. That is terrible. That could happen to me, that could happen to your mom, and that could happen to you. It's not going to happen.
It's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes.
That's enough of that. Can I respond to that?
No, you have to go for your 2 minutes, and then we'll see if there's time.
Because, wow, that was
Your time again.
an attack on my credibility, and
You can respond with your
not true. But anyway, let's get back on what's the question here.
What's your commitment to the people?
Oh, when we became commissioners, when I became a commissioner, I said, yes, I swear to do it, uphold it, whatever, Constitution, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, all right? And we are in a war with COVID, all right? All hell breaks loose. We got all kind of issues to deal with, all right? We're worried about the residents of the county. We're worried about our employees, the people that are they're serving. We have a lot of issues. How are we going to handle this? How are we going to work continue to provide services under these strict guidelines? The masks, the isolation, quarantining, and everything else. We did lose some staff because of the COVID. So we were right in there trying to protect and continue to provide services to the people of this county, and we did that. And I thought that was a great accomplishment by Sam and I and Kim to keep the county running without any disruption of services. And it was tough. That was a tough thing to do. So, as far as, you know, I don't know where I'm going with this one, but the opioid settlement, Shapiro, the governor, when he was Attorney General, he got a $26 billion lawsuit filed against the pharmaceutical companies. Our county got $4 million over 17 years we're going to disperse. And right now we're working on different programs that we're going to institute to go into schools and to teach the children about drugs and opiates. Okay? Thank you.
That's a big part, I only had one on
Think of that.
The $50,000 that I don't remember was, Joe, if you remember, I think that was from the Northumberland County General Authority, not the Northumberland County Commissioners. I said the Northumberland County Commissioners did nothing for us. That money was from the General Authority, money that I happened to sit on the board with at the time, and I think Mr. Cloudy was on the board, and we renegotiated all the leases in Northumberland County. The revenue, that $50,000 was generated through those lease renegotiations. So that money came to clear the air from the Northumberland County General Authority.
That was taxpayers' money, correct?
We said $20 million.
Taxpayers' money.
$20 million we said.
Thank you, Joe. Well, can we all applaud everybody? But this is all right. We're going to 2 minutes to say whatever you want. It's the last words that we will
I got a
hear.
rebuttal. The
Joe, all right,
one thing.
go ahead, Joe. 60 seconds.
You know, how dare you, Mr. Clausy, accuse me of a death of a child? That is rotten.
Yeah.
First of all, you know, I do oversee the 911 center, but all three commissioners in our 21 different areas that we oversee, we all make decisions together on what we're going to do with these different, when a problem does come up. So it's not just me, I'm also communicating with the other two commissioners, but to accuse me of the death of a child, you don't even know the whole story of how this happened. Our 911 dispatchers did their job according to what they were supposed to do, and they did it to the T. And if you would find out and stop telling lies and spreading misinformation, things would be a lot better off, you know? Tell the truth once in a while.
The truth is this, a child, hold on a second.
I'm very sorry a child died. I have 4 children myself, and I'm very sorry that a child died.
Listen, we're going to be productive. I'll give you a second. Hold
I
on.
gotta respond, sir, that's an important
All right,
stuff.
listen. All right, give me a second.
Okay, give me
Give
me 5 seconds.
We're going to be adults.
Give me 5 seconds.
Definitely don't want that guy back again. Oh, shit.
You get 60 seconds.
How much?
Respond. 60 seconds.
I only take it 30 seconds.
All right, go
I
ahead.
said something. Do I get 60 seconds then to respond?
Then you did get your 60
Yes, you did.
seconds. He gets a chance as well, unfortunately.
I want everybody to know that Mr. Claiborne, he never called Chuck Ryman, the guy who lost the baby. You never called that man. I called that man 5.
How do you know?
Because he told me, you never call him.
Okay,
I
all
speak
right.
to him
We're
every
done.
day.
We're done. It's not.
Shame on you.
Listen, the reality is just not to go back and forth. We're trying not to have it back and forth. So. All right, well, we're going to end with your 2 minutes.
Die. A child died.
Excuse me. We're going to give our 2 minutes, and you can say whatever you'd like to say. It's the last words that we're going to hear from you as a candidate. Please choose your words wisely. And you don't need to always defend yourself. Speak to the people who want to vote for you, okay? We're here listening. So, Craig, if you're willing, you can stand up or just speak up.
Happy Richardson. Yeah, I'd just like to thank 4 candidates for coming tonight with me here, discussing what our problems are, and everyone else who came to listen to it. And my pledge to Northumberland County residents is if I am elected, and I hope to be elected, I've done a wonderful job in Cole Township. I'm not blowing my horn, ask anybody that lives there. I know there's Cole Township residents here tonight that would attest to that. I will work very, very hard for Northumberland County. Sam and myself have my differences, Sam, but if I'm elected, I shake your hand and tell you I'll work hard with you.
Just real quick, I just want to bring one thing we didn't bring up was the courthouse project. And I just want to bring that up because that was a project no commissioners would touch for the last 50 years. Nobody wanted to bring that courthouse up to stuff where it should be. And we did do that without raising any taxes, by going out and working with our state representatives, getting RACPs and our federal representatives, and got us enough money that we did that without raising taxes. And that was a big project, and when you get to see the grass and everything, it's going to be great. Let's go back to just my ending comment. Listen, I watch TV as you do, whether you watch Fox News or MSNBC or whatever. I am sick of hearing politicians argue and personally attack each other all the time. I'm sick of it. I don't mind any of us, Craig, any of us talking about what we want to do in the county, as far as budget, as far as the departments, but I'm done with when you start attacking people. I'm sick of it. I know you guys on TV, you're sick of it. They just make stuff up. Let's talk about how to move the county forward. If I'm not the person that you think should move the county forward, that's fine. If there's 3 other people here, that's fine with me. I did my 8 years. I'm just trying to, you know what I did for 8 years. I'm just trying to continue that. I'm trying to do the cooperation we have with all the surrounding counties. They all want to work with us. To the cooperation we have with the federal government, with the state government, with everybody around here. That's why we're getting things done. And that's why it's quiet here, because we're doing the right things. And again, let's just work on the issues, okay? I'm sick of all the other stuff, and I'm sure you want to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again for everyone for being here today. And also, I agree completely with the partisanship, and I really feel that there is no place for that in local politics. We need to be working together to get things done. I came to this area nearly 30 years ago to get a poli-sci degree at Bucknell University, and I am very, very proud to call this area home, and I am glad to be able to volunteer in my communities. I have, one point I worked for a national company. I got to work in compliance where I prevented and eliminated fraud, and I think that speaks to me and what I think is important. I think that there probably are things that we can do in the county, that we can find places to save money and we can make sure that things aren't being done correctly. I have volunteered throughout the region. I assisted with launching of the Buffalo Valley Rail Trail. I helped with raising the funds to help refurbish this building. We were concerned this building would go to blight, and instead we replaced the roof. We replaced the elevator. We refurbished this room, all with business and government partnerships. And I think that is critically important. So we need to get our businesses involved with partnering as well. I'm running for this office because I believe I can make a difference for our county. I have high integrity, I work hard, I work well in teams, and I believe in minimal regulations, minimal taxes where possible, and I'm passionate about economic revitalization. So I look forward to continuing those efforts for you, the people at the county level. A vote for me is a vote for new possibilities. Better quality jobs, educational resources, community pride. Let's give our children a reason to stay here in the county.
Yes, when I come in 2008 as a county commissioner, I committed to the people in Northumberland County I was going to get rid of corruption. And I did it. I went after the judges, I went after the DA, I went after the employer. They're now working. They used to come and get the paycheck. I carried 3 or 4 people that used to go to Fantasy Island to get a suntan. And the county people was paying the salary to these people. Okay, I did my job. I worked very hard for the people in Northumberland County. And summer like again, I will commit it to you people. God will do the best job I can. I'm not saying the county is corrupted now, but it was corrupted before. 100%. I fired you. Remember, you didn't come to work.
We need somebody there.
You remember?
Money you took out of the
You
transportation.
remember you didn't come to work. I fired
The money you took from the transportation for part of the
you.
hammer.
Yeah, and you didn't come to work. You just come to work once a week.
A little liar.
So anyway, so I would ask everybody in Northumberland County to support me. I've been going from one end of the county to the other end of the county, and everybody everybody know I don't need no salary, I don't need no jobs. I want to work for the people of Northumberland County for free. And I will donate my salary to the people, to children, and senior citizens. So, and I ask everybody for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you everyone out there for listening to all this stuff here that's been going on. Well, as I mentioned, I'm a team player. I like to get things done. And I believe this past administration, or the current one we have right now with Sam and I and Kim, we've done a great job, and I look forward to continuing that. Some of my future plans, or our future plans in this county would be, we have ARPA funds. We're going to continue to develop initiatives for municipalities, like we just did, $1 million municipality grant. We have different municipalities coming in and applying for that. We did get a settlement from Governor Shapiro of $4 million, which we're going to start programs within the county, which I believe is where this drug crisis has to begin with the kids in schools and teaching them. So there's a possibility of using this money to hire some counselors and some other professionals in these areas to deal with the opioid crisis we have here. We have a 911 tower that we're looking at building. The prison, possible consolidation. We know we have a problem there. We got to work on that. Development of the Celtex plant, the property. We're looking at building a fire training facility, which will bring in revenue to the county out at the prison site. That'd be a great thing. And also the biggest thing is broadband development. Right now our county, we're lacking in certain areas in broadband. We just do not have enough of a stream coming through to support what we need to support as far as TV and internet connectivity and all that. We just need to get that developed more. And of course maintaining the building. Wait a second, I have a couple more things I got to do. But I just want to finish. My personal attributes are I'm a good listener. I treat everyone with respect and dignity, and I don't demean anybody. And we have a great working staff here and great working relationship. Thank you, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you everyone for coming. Make sure you go out and vote. Don't forget to vote.